fellow Africans, I do not stand before you as a president, nor as a general, nor as a man who seeks applause. I stand before you as a son of the soil, one among millions who have bled, who have starved, and who have waited too long for the promise of dignity and sovereignty. Today I speak to the African people, from Ouagadougou to Lagos, from Kinshasa to Kigali, from Dakar to Dar es Salaam. Let us tell ourselves the truth. Africa is not poor, Africa is not weak, Africa is not inferior, but for too long, Africa has been led by leaders who behave like managers of foreign interests instead of guardians of our destiny. Our lands are rich with gold, with diamonds, with cobalt, with oil, but our people are poor. How can that be? It is not a mystery. The problem lies not just in Europe or America or China. The problem is in our leadership. The enemy has always entered through our own gates, through leaders who trade the future of their children for a seat at the master's table. In Congo, there is enough cobalt to power the world's future, yet the Congolese child walks barefoot, drinks dirty water, and dies before his 5th birthday. In Nigeria, the giant of Africa, oil flows like rivers, but so does corruption. In Kenya, in South Africa, in Tunisia, everywhere, we see governments that wear democracy like a borrowed coat, just for appearance, not for the people. Is this the democracy we were promised? A democracy where elections are bought with foreign money? Where the will of the people is replaced with the will of corporations? Where soldiers trained to defend the homeland are used to silence the hungry? Let me ask you, who writes our constitutions? Who funds our elections? Who trains our judges? Who builds our parliaments and supplies the microphones our lawmakers use to lie to us? If our sovereignty depends on a signature in Paris, Washington, or Brussels, then we are not independent. We are still colonies, just in suits instead of chains. We cannot be free if we refuse to be bold. The time of waiting for permission is over. Look at what they did to Libya. Muammar Gaddafi wanted a united Africa, one currency, one military, one direction. What did the West do? They bombed him, they lynched him, and some African leaders cheered. That is the depth of our betrayal. Today they say Traore is a dictator. They said the same about Sankara, about Lumumba, about Nkrumah, about Gaddafi. Why? Because these were men who refused to kneel. You will never be praised by the colonizer for standing up. You will only be praised when you obey. But I did not come to power to obey. I came to remind us that leadership is not about wearing a sash and giving empty speeches. It is about sacrifice. It is about discipline. It is about risking your life for the dignity of your people. I say this to my brothers and sisters in Senegal. You are waking up. You have shown the world that young Africans are not asleep. You have said no to manipulation. To the people of Mali, Guinea, Niger, we walk the same path now. We are not rebels, we are rebuilders. We are not traitors, we are transformers. We are criticized for removing the puppets from power. But we ask, how long shall we keep being patient while our children die from preventable diseases, while our girls are sold into slavery, while our boys drown in the Mediterranean, trying to reach the very countries that stole from us? African democracy must be African. It must reflect our realities, our cultures, our values, not be photocopies of systems that were never meant for us. What good is a constitution if it cannot feed the hungry? What good is a parliament that debates while the people perish? To the African Union, I say this with pain in my heart. You have become a club of silence, a place where strong words are spoken and no action follows. When coups happen, you condemn. But when elections are rigged, when constitutions are manipulated, when police kill protesters, you say nothing. Where were you when foreign armies trampled over Mali? Where were you when villages were burned? You were waiting for a press release from France, but our people are not waiting anymore. The youth of Africa are rising, not with guns, but with questions, with demands, with dreams. Dreams of a continent where we no longer beg for aid, but build our own industries, where our resources benefit our people first, where our passports mean something, where being African is not a burden, but a badge of honor. We must now form new alliances. From Algeria to Zimbabwe, from Ethiopia to Namibia, we must speak one language, dignity. Whether you speak Arabic, Swahili, Wolof, Yoruba, Zulu or Amharic, let us speak the language of unity. We must build African institutions, an African currency backed by African gold, African universities that teach African history, African militaries that defend African borders, not foreign interests, African media that tells the truth, not colonial narratives. To my fellow leaders who still think they can serve two masters, I say choose now. You are either with Africa or against her. There is no middle ground anymore. The people are watching, and the people are not blind. Some say we are young and inexperienced. I say it is the old who have failed us. We do not fear death. We fear dying without making a difference. If I must die, let it be in defense of a liberated Africa. Let Burkina Faso be the spark. Let Mali be the flame. Let Niger be the fire. And let all of Africa be the blaze that burns away the chains of oppression. We are not anti-Europe. We are not anti-America. We are pro-Africa. And Africa must come first in all decisions made on African soil. No more exploitation, no more puppets, no more begging. I speak to every African child in the slums of Kampala, in the camps of Sudan, in the townships of Johannesburg, in the villages of Chad, in the streets of Kinshasa, in the deserts of Mauritania. Lift your head high. You are not cursed. You are not forgotten. You are not weak. You are the descendants of warriors, of kings and queens, of poets and prophets, of builders and dreamers. Rise up, Africa. Rise with courage. Rise with vision. Rise with unity, for the future is ours. If Africa is to rise, then the time has come to ask painful questions, even to ourselves. Why do African leaders go to Europe for medical treatment when our hospitals are in ruins? Why do we send our children to study abroad while our own schools are falling apart? Why do we keep our national reserves in foreign banks while our own people can't get access to loans? Why do we spend millions on presidential palaces while children are forced to sleep on classroom floors? This isn't just mismanagement. This is betrayal, and the people have had enough. Let me speak directly to our elders who still cling to power. You have ruled for 30, 40, even 50 years. And what do you have to show for it? Our youth are jobless. Our roads are broken. Our rivers are polluted. Our hopes have faded. Power is not a birthright. Leadership must not become a family business. If you cannot serve the people, step aside. Look at the youth. They do not ask for much. They do not ask for luxury. They ask for opportunity, for dignity, for security. Yet they are shot in the streets for demanding the future that was promised to them. In Sudan, they march with empty stomachs and full hearts, asking only for bread and justice. In Togo and Gabon, they raise their voices against dynasties disguised as democracies. In Zimbabwe and Uganda, they fight against systems that fear youth like an enemy. But Africa's youth are not a threat. They are the solution. It is time to lower the age of leadership. Let us bring young engineers into ministries, not just as interns, but as ministers. Let us trust our tech innovators to build the digital Africa. Let us give land to our young farmers, instead of waiting for foreign investment. Let us stop celebrating youth during campaigns and forgetting them after elections. To every young African listening, never let them tell you you're too young to lead. They said that to Sankara, they said that to me, but age is not wisdom. Experience without results is nothing but recycled failure. And to our women, our mothers, sisters, daughters, I salute you. You are the backbone of this continent. You carry firewood and carry nations. You are the first to suffer and the last to be heard, but not anymore. Africa cannot rise without its women. We must break the chains of patriarchy just as we break those of neocolonialism. Let women lead not just in homes, but in armies, in parliaments, in presidencies. It is time. Now I speak to those outside our continent who still see Africa as a place to exploit. We are not your backyard. We are not your quarry. We are not your experiment. Our lands are not up for sale. Our leaders are not for hire, and our sovereignty is not negotiable. To the multinationals extracting our gold, our lithium, our uranium, your time of unchecked theft is ending. You will pay fair taxes or you will leave. We will refine our resources at home. We will build factories, not just dig holes. We will sell value, not just raw material. To those who use aid as a weapon, keep your aid. We are ready to suffer with dignity rather than live with dependency. Aid is not a gift, it is a leash. We do not want leashes, we want respect. Let us now speak of security in the Sahel, in Somalia, in Mozambique. We are under siege, not just by terrorists with guns, but by interests with pens and contracts. The fight against terrorism cannot be won by drones and soldiers alone. It must be won with justice, with education, with jobs, with strong local communities. This is why we in Burkina Faso are building our own defense forces, not to threaten our neighbors, but to defend our dignity. We will not wait for foreign troops to protect our mothers. We will not wait for foreign intelligence to defend our villages. We will stand up ourselves. Now, I must speak of unity. Africa must move beyond borders drawn by colonial hands. The people of Ghana are our people. The people of Benin are our people. The people of Cameroon, of Tanzania, of Eritrea. We are one people with one fate. No African should be treated as a foreigner on African soil. We need an African passport, an African economic zone, an African military command, an African media voice. We need an African standard for elections not controlled by foreign observers who come with biased pens, but by African judges, scholars, and civil society. We must stop copying Europe's divisions. Why should ECOWAS, SADC, EAC, Colorado Mesa all move in different directions? Let us merge, not multiply. Let us build a single sovereign Africa. Not tomorrow, today. And let me say this loud. We are not against the world. We are not isolationists. We are not extremists. We are builders of a new world. But we will not build it by kneeling. We are ready to trade, to partner, to cooperate, but as equals. No more patronizing handshakes. No more lectures. No more bullying disguised as diplomacy. If you want Africa's friendship, respect our people. If you want Africa's market, respect our rules. If you want Africa's trust, respect our choices. And finally, to those who try to paint us as threats, as military juntas, as radicals, know this: we are not afraid of your words. We are afraid only of silence in the face of suffering. You call it a coup when the people reclaim power, but you call it democracy when corrupt leaders change constitutions to stay in power for life. We are not perfect, we are not angels, but we are awake, we are moving, and we are not turning back. Let the history books show that this generation did not fold, that we did not accept crumbs, that we did not sell our souls. Let it be written that Africans rose not with violence, but with vision, not with hate, but with honor, not with division, but with discipline. If I must die for saying this truth, then so be it, but I would rather die with dignity than live as a slave. Africa will rise not because of one man, but because of a million minds, a million hearts, a million souls ready to break the silence. So let this be our message to the world. We are awake, we are standing, and we are coming. Thank you for listening. The homeland or death, we shall overcome.